Hello everyone. I'm really happy to be here with you today, and I really thank Trendy English for inviting me. To be quite honest, I don't really like webinars because, first of all, I can't see you. Yes, the only thing we have is the chat. So please be active. Please write something because, as a teacher, yeah, you know that we we really need emotional contact and eye contact and stuff like that, and it's hard to speak without it. And the second difficult thing about webinars or conferences is that, again, as a teacher, I have 90 minutes and I have to talk for all of them, you know? So my TTT is 100%. It's also rather hard because I'm used to asking a question and then waiting for an answer and thinking of how to improve this answer. So, yes, hello, thank you for answering. And it's great that we have people from all over Russia here. And actually, as a presenter, I have a little map here so I can see everybody on the map. And it's amazing. Yeah, so, but mostly concentrated in the Moscow region of central Russia. But it's great to see some dots, you know, in the center of Russia or in Murmansk. And I've been to Novosibirsk and I've been to Murmansk, so I can, you know, that also makes me very happy. So let's get started, shall we? So I have actually first question for you. Who is a freelancer, like 100% freelancer? Can you send me a plus or something? Just only freelance teaching, nothing else, no schools. Okay, Anna. Okay, I think that's only Anna. Okay, and then Anna. All right. Oh, two Annas. Okay, for now. Interesting. Anastasia, what are your plans for the future? Yeah, and as my second question is, who is maybe 50-50 part-time freelancer? Yeah, who has a full-time or a part-time job and is a freelancer too? So write down something like 50-50 or stuff. 50-50. 80-20. Interesting. So 80 full-time job, a school or something. All right. Okay, so we have freelancers here, and you know what is interesting? I think most of the freelancers are called Annas, so maybe it's a good name to be a freelancer because I'm Anna, Anita, myself. Right. So first of all, I'd like to present myself so we get acquainted. And yeah, one more question. Does anybody know me? Has anyone heard me speaking at any conference or maybe watched my webinars about IP? Please send me a plus. No? No? You people? That's great. That's amazing. Right. So that's why I'm going to present myself. Teaching is not my first education. I'm a psychologist by my first education, and I think this really helps me. I don't know, I'm actually proud of it. And if you're not a teacher by your first education, please share it with us too. I think it gives me a little bit different perspective to teaching, and so anyway, psychology is something that always helps me in my class. It helps me with my students. I'm also a business trainer, so I worked in business a little for about a year, and I mostly teach soft skills. That's why my topic today is actually I'm going to remember my past. It was about 10 years ago when I was a business trainer, and actually what we're going to do today is soft skills, for example, time management. And after that, only 5 years ago, I became an English teacher. I did a CELTA in London in April 5 years ago, and since then I've been an English teacher. And I'm a freelance teacher. I teach online and offline. I gave a trendy English talk a couple of months ago on how to use Zoom for online teaching. So if you have any questions about freelance and online teaching, you can ask me too. And can you still hear me? Yeah, because I see there is nothing in the chat, so I'm getting worried. So no, nobody is not a teacher by their first education. I'm the only one. only teachers here, so I'm getting a little bit scared. So, freelance teacher. I've been a freelance teacher for 2 full years now. Before that, part-time as most of you. And so now I have a full 2 year experience of being a freelance teacher, and I'm registered as IP. IP? IP, yeah, this is a Russian term. Yeah, so I'm going to say it in Russian to avoid confusions. So I can share my experience with you. Some things I think I'm doing great, and I can share this experience with you. Some things I'm still learning about accounting and taxes and stuff, but I will share my experience, and maybe you will share yours, yeah, because we have some experienced freelance teachers in this chat room too. So, and I'm a CPD, I'm a teacherpreneur. Yeah, next on my list is that I'm a teacherpreneur. It means that actually I heard this term about a year ago at Trendy English online, I know, or Skyeng something from Marina Kladova, and you've already met with her this week. And I started using this term, so thank you, Marina, very much, because this is actually what I really do, because I have lots of projects, lots of ideas. Now, my partner and I were doing an online course, like 100% online, not teaching in groups, but an online course. So I had my own speaking club. I always create something, and I created a community for teachers, for freelance teachers, not only English teachers, to share our problems and successes and questions. It's called teacherpreneurs.club, and I will share the links in the end today. And I am a CPD addict. I would say I'm, as all of the teachers, I think this is our, not a problem, but what would we call it? Yeah. So we are, most of us, we're CPD addicts. So I have a CPE, a CELTA, I have two educations. Every time I'm doing courses on something. So the courses that I really liked and I would recommend everybody. I went to London for a summer course in English phonetics at UCL, University College of London. So this one I definitely recommend if you're interested in phonetics. So linguistics, as I'm not a teacher by my first education, so I knew nothing about linguistic management, marketing. This is what I'm doing right now, yeah, because I'm a freelancer. Assessment, finance, etc. So I think it's right to include these areas in our CPD too, because when we're freelancers, we need to know a lot of things and not only about teaching. So that's about me. And about our plan for today. Yeah, I called my talk Business Essentials for Freelancers because I actually didn't know what to call it. You know, I had the three small topics. These are the questions that people, my friends, my colleagues usually ask me about time management, because when a freelancer, it's hard to manage your time, your schedule, your, I don't know, things you need to do. I mean, teaching wise and I don't know, your life and everything. Then how to manage our clients. I mean, two questions here. How to make them stop canceling the lessons. Yeah, so when you're a freelancer, I don't know, the biggest fear whenever somebody wants to become a freelancer is that you can, you know, wake up one morning and have no one to teach, and that means no income. So we are going to talk about this, how not to let this happen. And the second one, yeah, so how to manage our existing clients and how to get, you know, how to be sure that you will have clients in the future, students in the future. And the third topic is pricing. This is more of a psychological topic, I would say. I don't have any say like tools and techniques that I can share here. I'm going to share my tools and techniques about time management and client management, but here pricing is more of a psychological topic, I would say. So because again, when you're a teacher and you're doing your work great, usually you set a very low price for your lessons and you don't know how to, I don't know what is the right way to increase it or to not increase it, and what to do and how to increase it if you want more money. So we're going to speak about how to earn a little bit more money when you're a freelancer. If there's any to ask me, please ask me whenever you have this question. We are going to have the question and answer session in the end, but I'm really happy to answer any of your questions at the moment when they arise, because maybe you have a question or an idea to discuss, maybe something I can share that will be very useful for you and for other participants. And maybe I haven't thought of this, so I've thought of these three, and maybe you have some more ideas, so please do ask. Right, and so first on the list is time, or actually self-management. Yeah, because we adults, we know that we can't manage the time. Really, what we can do is only to manage ourselves. And here I have some questions. So give me a second. I'm going to draw a number. So I have question number 1. Do you have time for lunch, sport, or hobbies? Do you have lunch, breakfast, dinner, every teaching day? So if you are happy with your lunch, sport, hobbies, and stuff, or like, okay, let's include this one here too. Yeah, with your work-life balance, do you work 24/7? So if you are happy, please give me a plus. If you're happy with your schedule. If you're not happy, please say no, a minus. Okay, Anna is happy, so Anna, I'll be waiting for your tips too. Different Anna is not really. Oh, so then if you have a minus, if you're not happy, maybe you could share with us what are your problems, because I'm going to speak about the problems I had, or maybe some of my colleagues had. And if you are happy with your schedule, please share your secrets too, all right? Because I think that everybody has their own style. On the one hand, I'm very happy that my topic is important. So, but on the other hand, I'm very sad that so many people are not satisfied with their work and life balance. All right, and my question number 2, my favorite question: how many hours do you teach per week? Okay, let's not make it hours, let's make it classes. For me, a class is 90 minutes. So how many hours do you teach per week? Okay. So while I'm waiting for the response on the second question, yeah, so Tatiana says that she has too much paperwork at the university. So Anna Nikolaeva, you teach 36 hours, or like academic hours, yeah, 45-minute hours. 40 hours per week? No, real hours. Are you speaking about hours, not classes? I'm just sorry. Okay, Anna, 60 minutes. 60 minutes, like real. So you literally spend 36 hours teaching per week. Okay. All right. So I remember it was, I think in October or November, there was a Trendy English conference, and I gave a speech on how to register an IP. And I remember that after the speech, I was trying to remember and evaluate my performance, and I thought that I said that I'm a lazy teacher for about, I don't know, 10 or 30 times during one speech for half an hour. And now I can read your comments, and I think I really am a lazy teacher. So as for me, I would say that the maximum for me is the maximum comfortable amount of teaching for me is 10 lessons per week, 10 90-minute lessons. That's my maximum. And what I prefer is actually 5-6 lessons per week. Is something that's it's my favorite schedule. No, 5, maybe 6. It's where I can relax, have time for myself, and enjoy my life. And my students think of my students, create something interesting for them, because I always want to do something for my students too. So that's why I'm impressed. 32 academic hours a week, 38. Okay, work 5 days a week, 21 classes, 2 days off. Okay, wow. Anna is really, I don't know, great with her time management skills, because On top of that, she has sports and hobbies. Anastasia, very busy data combined with almost empty. Okay, about 30 hours a week. I teach groups. Yeah, I have. I do teach groups, but right now I have only one group, and it's more of an English speaking club because they're advanced, and we meet once a week. It's a group of about 10 students. So yeah, when I have groups, actually groups, I don't know, for me, I'm an extrovert, but groups take more energy, and I would say I would prefer to have not more than 2 groups to teach at the same time. So for now, I mostly work with individual students, and I moved from online to offline. I worked in online for about 2 years, and I got fat, plus 10 kilograms in this online teaching. I got very lazy, yeah, and not only because of that, but I just wanted some change. So now I teach offline and I commute. Yeah, I have to commute. That's why it's also I spend time on that. All right. Yeah. So again, I'm the laziest teacher in the group right now, and I don't know. I like being lazy, and I like my schedule. And I don't know if you're not happy with your if most of you are not happy with your schedule, so maybe you'd like to teach, not so many hours per day. It depends on the personality, of course, but I can teach 40 hours. I had this experience, but have you attended Marina Kladova's webinar on professional burnout? Send me a plus if you've heard her. Yeah, so this is what happened to me too. I had practically the same experience as she did. Yeah, and as a psychologist, I know what a professional burnout is, and I don't really want it for myself. I don't really want it for you because, and why actually I started talking about all of this, because some of my great colleagues who are amazing teachers, they had to quit. They wanted to quit in the end because of their professional burnout. So we teachers, we should take care of ourselves, manage our time to be happier for our students, and that's why we need some time management skills. So actually I wanted to share some techniques with you, and then I'm going to share some tools I use to work with these techniques. So I remember my first time management training session and how I learned to be a business trainer. So the first tip is, when you plan your day, plan your lunch, and by lunch I mean breakfast and dinner and supper first. So this you might, I don't know, be surprised, but usually we forget about our food, but this is something that we really need to be active. Yeah, we need food, we're human, and we're alive, and to stay healthy we need proper meals. I don't, depends on your lifestyle, depending on your personality, but usually, like for me, I need 3 to 4 meals per day, and it should be a proper meal while you are sitting and eating and maybe thinking of something not related to work. So the first mistake people usually make, yeah, we start planning, we usually think a lot about our students. We're student-centered teachers, most of us, and it's in my opinion it's not right, because first of all we need to be teacher-centered teachers, yeah, to center on our well-being. So if you agree with me, please send me a plus if you think that actually we need, yeah, great idea, yeah, we need to be teacher-centered, because again, as Marina also said, I had to listen to her webinar because I had a feeling that we're going to speak, about the same stuff, because we need to be happy teachers to have happy and successful students, because they take a lot from us. They take our energy. They base their success on our energy. So to give them more, we need to have more. That's why, yeah, we need to plan our lunch first, because it's something that really takes time. I don't know, a minimum of 30 minutes. So I would really recommend you to try and plan your next week. Luckily, we have 2 days off. I don't know if you have I have 2 students tomorrow, so I don't. But I mean, for you, yeah, you can plan next week. I would really recommend you for this webinar to be useful for you, to try and implement what I'm saying for the next week. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, yeah, you don't like it. It is, but it works for me and works for my other colleagues. So we plan our lunch first. It's not very hard, and this is something that we can't cancel. If something comes up, you can't move your lunch. You can't, okay, or breakfast. Yeah, if there is no room for moving. Yeah, so this is a thing you have to do, and just, you know, accept it and relax. So if somebody calls you and asks you to have a lesson at your lunchtime, you say sorry. You have your calendar. You say, I'm very sorry, I'm busy. So that's why it's important to put your lunch on you know, on the planner, or I don't know, whatever tool you're using. Yeah, because when somebody asks you, you have this time already fixed and occupied. If you don't have, if you remember, yeah, I have to have lunch tomorrow. Yeah, of course, like all people have to eat. Yeah. And but if you don't plan it, when somebody calls you, you say, yes, of course I can. Of course, darling, I understand you. You can't at 12. Yes, let's meet at 2. And then you have your full schedule booked with your students and not with you. So first thing you do, you plan the things that you need, first of all, because your students, they will find, I don't know, find room in their schedules if they want to have a lesson with you. And first of all, so you plan lunch, and I would include, yeah, so my second technique here is that you schedule also your sport and hobbies in advance, and you also make a note of it in your planning thing, yeah, a calendar or an application you're using. Because again, when you have it there, you can see it and you can say no to a class canceling or moving. Okay, so and only after that, of course, yeah, you set a reasonable amount of sports and hobbies, yeah. But for I will on the next slide I will have a screenshot of one of my weeks, and you will see that I have sports and hobbies there. And okay, I will be honest with you. Of course, if sometimes I have I don't know, a fitness class or something, and the students ask me to move, yeah, I might consider skipping sports that day. If I can see that, for example, I try to go to my fitness center 3-4 times per week. Okay, I can skip it once if the student really needs it. Yeah, but again, when you have it on your planner, then you can think if you skip it or not. If you don't have it there, 99% chance that you will forget about it and you will not have it during the week. So what usually happens to us is what we have planned. That's why, yeah, all your classes are planned. That's why you teach so many hours, and that's why you might forget about sports, hobbies, or lunch, because they are not planned, not written down anywhere. All right, so I hope you are with me here, and we are going to have a very healthy and sporty, full of hobbies lifestyle starting tomorrow. One more important thing about planning is when you have your calendar, every day we need to leave room for emergencies, because something happens. Yeah, you can't plan everything one thing after another. Yeah, one lesson after another, because usually something happens. When you live in Moscow, there are traffic jams, the underground is not working, I don't know, the bus stops, and I don't know, you have some problems with your children, with your family, etc., etc. You need, so not to, again, not to get crazy, not to burn out, you need time to fix these problems. Or if nothing happens and you have 20% of your schedule planned for emergencies, you can relax in this time or read a book. Yeah, that's again an option. But again, yeah, so your day can't be full with meetings or lessons or lunches. Yeah, because so we need about 20% of the time each day. So taking 100% of the day, it's usually I don't know, about 10. No, I'm a humanitarian, hard to count. So we have 24 hours. We sleep for, how many hours do you sleep per day, by the way? Tell me. I try to sleep about 8, 9. Yeah, 8, 9 is for me. 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's good. 6, 8. Okay, okay. This is yeah. So 5, 6. Maybe it's a little bit too little. Um, all right. So it depends. I don't know what's the right question to answer here. We need to listen to ourselves. For me, it's 8, 9 hours I need to sleep. So that leaves us about 15 hours per day. And so 10% of this time should be not planned for anything. It should be room for emergency situations or something spontaneous that can happen to you. So that's why when you have this room, yeah, you can do something unplanned. You can go with a friend to cinema or something like that. So this is also important. All right, I'm great at, okay, maybe not all of us have lunch, but at least everybody sleeps more or less well. And it's connected to the previous topic. It's called air. In Russian, it's also воздух in your schedule. Yeah, you can't plan the meetings one after another. Only when you teach at school, yeah, there you have, of course, one after another your lessons. But when you're a freelancer, you need air because your students might be late and you might be late, etc. Some traffic, so at least half an hour between each lesson. But I think this, you know this. All right, and there is when you're a freelancer, of course, it's hard to plan your time, but also it's hard to do something, for example, to read or to prepare for your lessons or to write an article or something, because there is no management, there are no colleagues, and you never know when to start and how to start, and you have to work at home, and at home you have to do the dishes, I don't know, cook lunch. You have lots of things, and it's hard to find time for work at home. That's why I'd like to share a Pomodoro technique with you. Have you ever heard of the Pomodoro technique? Please send a plus if yes. No. Okay. No. No. Okay. Great. So this is my favorite technique. Again, for me, it's really hard to manage myself. I'm easily distracted, and I need deadlines. So this is important for me. So when, for example, I have a free day, I also like to have, for example, Wednesday for not teaching. So I work on Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday is for me, and etc. Thursday, Friday, I work. So again, I'm a lazy teacher. So on Wednesday, I want to prepare for my lessons, and I want to write some posts. It's also part of my job. I want to record some webinars or something. And I wake up and I have lunch. And if I don't use the Pomodoro technique, I usually lose my day. So I do nothing or a little bit. So the idea is, okay, maybe I can, okay. Okay, I'll tell you about, no, sorry. So the Pomodoro technique is that you set a special timer for 25 minutes, and during this time, you should be focused on your work. So you start with writing a list of to-dos you have to do, and you put it in front of you, and then you set the Pomodoro timer for 25 minutes. You take the first task, and you start working on it. You don't check your WhatsApp. You don't go on Facebook. If somebody calls you, it's like you are having a class or something. So it's 25 minutes work only. Of course, if there is an emergency situation with somebody you love, of course you can take the phone, but it doesn't happen every day, luckily. So that's why, like right now, yeah, I'm with you. I can't take any calls from my friends. So the same thing, 25 minutes, 100 concentration on work. Then a 5-minute break, you do something else. Then a 25-minute session for work, etc. So, and you operate in these 25 to 5 periods of time, and this is how you work. For this, I have a special timer. So this is time to share the technique. Can you see it all right? You can find, it can be like, you know, just a timer that you set yourself for 25 or 5 minutes. But what I like is an app that does it for me. So this is an app called Focus To Do. And I have it on my phone, and it's automatic. So when I open this app, yeah, I have so the same picture that Hello? Somehow I became like a participant, not a teacher, so that's why I wasn't there. All right. Can you hear me now? No, it's okay. Super. So what I like is this timer. So I want to actually show you. Yeah, so when I start this timer, it's like this, like you can see on your screens, it's 25. And by the way, I saw somebody sent a link to this Pomodoro technique on Wikipedia, so you can read it. And I press start, and you see it's the time's running. Yeah, and I usually put this in front of myself. So, and this, I don't know, automatically gives me this feeling of deadline, a certain, rush, a certain adrenaline thing when you have a deadline, and this deadline is just in 25 minutes, and I start working faster. I don't answer any WhatsApp messages that I keep getting constantly, and it really, for me, it's helps me, to get this workflow of energy and motivation, everything. So, and you can be surprised how many things you can do in just 25 minutes. That's amazing. So I really recommend you to try if you have some self-management problems like I do. So after that, you have a break for 5 minutes. And what I usually do is I spend these 5 minutes also doing something important, but Anastasia, I'm happy that you like it, but you can do something different. So I usually have two lists of tasks, some work tasks that I have to do, check homework, answer my students, answer emails, and so on. And I have things of to-do tasks, wash the dishes, I don't know, clean something at home, cook, etc. And I usually do this when I have a 5 minute break. 5 minutes is enough to do the dishes. 5 minutes is enough to vacuum, as for me, at least one room. Yeah, so you can get lots of things done, and this energy for me is really great. So I do recommend. And the second tool is not actually a tool. I mean, you all have different planners. I like planning online. I mean, I like planning in app. So I have an iPhone, so I use an app for iOS. I don't use our standard calendar. I don't like it. I like Calendar 5, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, you choose what the tool that you like, but I recommend you to have a calendar where you plan your lunch, etc. As you can see, I don't have lunch in my, I mean, it's not fixed, it's not written on my screenshot here, because I've already been doing it for about 2 years. So I know that I usually have my lunch at the same time. And now with my schedule, I have only evening students. That's why I always have time for lunch, so I don't plan it, not to have it on my screen all the time. But the green things here, the Pilates here, I have Pilates here, I have Pilates here, so I have sports and some Tai Chi here. I have sports 4 times per week. I have, so the blue thing are my groups. So you can see that I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, that's practically my maximum that week. And Friday somehow was free, and I have some meetings planned there. Yeah, so I would recommend you to plan and to see your plan, and this will help you to analyze how much time you spend working, how much time you spend with your family. So if you have children, you could actually plan, this time with your children in advance again. And of course, you know that every day you will be spending this time with your children, but it's better to have it planned, to have it fixed, and to have it, in front of your eyes. This will definitely help you to keep this plan and not to switch to work or something. So these are the tools I use for self-management. So the first rule is that everything should be visible. So you need to see what you actually are going to do next week. You check that you have lunch, your hobbies, and things that really, really matter. What job matters, yeah, but other things matter too. So don't shift your focus to work, yeah, but find this balance and try to be, at least for a week, a self-centered teacher, yeah, and then it will be great if you share your results with me, so you could tell me and give me some feedback if it worked for you or it didn't. So if you have any questions here, please ask, or we're moving to the next topic. Nobody's writing, that means Anna writing. Second. Okay, got it, clear. All right. So really try. So the next thing is client management. I say client because actually I'm still in the search of a proper word. Client, student, in Russian like pupil or something. What do we call our students? I usually call them students, but when I'm presenting, I say client because they actually are clients if you're a freelancer. So, question number, I will ask you this one. Number one, are you scared when you're a freelancer or if you are going to be a freelancer of waking up one day and having no one to teach? So is it the fear you have, and is it why you're not becoming a freelancer? Please say yes or no. Yeah. No, great. Okay, we have 50-50 for now. So again, if but I guess that no, you are saying the experienced freelancers, but this is one of the top fears that new freelancers usually have. So I have a second question. This is kind of also hot topic for us. Um, do your students cancel lessons, and are you tired of losing money because of that? So do you have the situations when students cancel, and is it a bother? Yeah. Yes. 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 Oh, okay. Sometimes. All right. Not too often. Do, but we do shifts. Anna, could you explain what do you mean we do shifts with the students? So it's like you move this lesson to another time slot, or okay. And question number three, I won't ask you now if you're tired or not, but I'd like to ask you, yeah, if you can send it to another day. So I would like to ask you question number three. How do you do your accounting? Excel, paper, something else that I don't know? So share your accounting tools with us, please. By accounting, I mean who paid, when did they pay, who has to pay, how much money you earned during the month, or if you don't do any accounting, say no. Maybe you don't. Paper on paper. Excel, anybody? That's what I started with. Excel on paper. Excel, but as professional. Hmm. You're thinking, Anna, you're thinking of hiring a person for an accountant, right? Excel, Google Notes, Excel too, of course. Yeah, I would say Excel is better than paper. I would recommend switching to Excel, but I mean, not all people can use the Excel. Anyway, I'm going to share my tools and techniques here as well. So I don't have these problems, and I will share how I solve them for myself. And I hope the experienced freelancers in the chat will also share their techniques too. So first problem, yeah, the first thing we need to talk about is how to get clients. Yeah, I mean how to not to have this fear of not having clients, I would say, because actually there is no problem with clients. Lots of people want to learn English, and there are not so many good teachers. There are many, yeah, but it's hard for the students to find us. So the first thing we need to do is to make this process of finding you easier. And that's why, yeah, sometimes people ask me or other teachers who share their experience with other teachers, like what a question I get from my friends, like, Anita, aren't you afraid of the competition? I'm not, because first of all, I don't believe in competition between teachers, because we are all doing one thing. We need to share our knowledge of English, and we need to help people that come to us. Uh, yeah, 1 hour, and it's really hard to speak. Our task is to help the students that come to us reach their goals and learn English. That's why we're doing the same thing. So we're not competitors, in my opinion. And the second thing is, there are not so many really good teachers, and so the more we share experience, the better community of teachers we create. So that's why I'm for collaboration, and I hope you are too. So first of all, not to lose your clients, first thing we need to work with is create and update your own client base. So tell me, who has a client base, a list of names and emails or telephones of your ex-students? Send me a plus. Okay. Oh, super. You do? Where do you keep it? Paper, Excel? Paper. Okay, paper is good, at least. Yeah, but not good enough. It's hard for you to Google Docs. Google Docs is better. Google Docs or Excel, practically the same thing. Yeah, so it will be easier for you to work with something digital, yeah, because when you want to reach your students, you don't need to type in the numbers, etc. So I would recommend you to start your client base on Google Docs or Excel. So have a name and have an email and a phone and some details. Yes, something that helps you remember the student. Of course, when you, I don't know, a group of 50 people, it's easy to remember who is who. Yeah, but when you get more and more clients, it's harder to remember who was this particular person, what you did together, some interesting facts, maybe some information about their children or their goals, etc. So first of all, we create this database, and we update it every month, for example. Yeah, every time you get a new person, or every time you get a new contact experience with the person you already had in your database. The second thing, keep in touch with your students. I know, first of all, I really like it, and I'm really interested in what's happening to my ex-students, my former students, and from time to time, I send them an email, and they respond, and that makes me really happy. Okay, that's it. Pleasant part of this. And the second thing is that actually our the flow of our students, yeah, the resource is actually in the word of mouth. Do you agree? So usually we get our news, somebody recommended us. Is it true for you? Yeah, absolutely. So that's why you need to remind of yourself to your ex-students, yeah, and they might get this reminder, your email or your call, depending on your relationship, and they will, and after that they hear from somebody that somebody needs an English teacher, and they will recommend you. If they, if they did have this new reminder about you, they might forget or might not think of that, or maybe some, I don't know why, but some of the students think that your, I don't know, your schedule is full and they don't recommend you because they're shy, whatever, yeah. You never did, but you will, Anastasia. I'm very happy for you that you will do this. Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, it's really pleasant because students are our life. Yeah, and our I don't know. I'm very emotional with my students. We're very good friends usually because I teach adults mostly, and this is the relationship I really enjoy. And that's why a reminder is useful and pleasant. What more do you need? So how to send these emails? I'll tell you when I move on to the tools. So you keep the database, then you keep in touch. And one more actually technique of getting more students is recommending other teachers. I'll tell you why. When somebody sometimes your schedule is full for now, but somebody asks you and says that they need an English teacher, and when we are full, we usually say sorry, we're full. We can't, I can't, I don't have room for you, etc. What happens, this person gets feeling of sadness, of course, because he wanted, and now he needs to find somebody else. So our task as a freelancer, as an entrepreneur, teacherpreneur, is to make this person happy, first of all, and to help this person. If we can't help them ourselves, we can't teach them because of our schedule, we can recommend another teacher. And this is good for you because, first of all, you will get a very good, you will help this person and he will remember that you helped him. And next time, you again, and even not the teacher he's working with, or he might recommend you both. Yeah, so this is first of all, and also you can also add this client to your database. Yeah, for example, what I do when somebody approaches me, I usually send them my test. I have an online test on my website. I send them this test, and I tell them, I can't teach you, but your good friend recommended me, so I'm kind of responsible for you too. I recommend you to do this test. I will assess your language, and then I ask for their preferable schedule, and then I recommend a teacher. Yes, so I provide some first aid for this person. Maybe I start speaking some English with them, so to give them the sense that they are moving somewhere, and then I recommend my dear colleague. So that's why it's really important to surround yourself with your great colleagues, the teachers that you can recommend, but because when you recommend someone, it's your responsibility. So you can't recommend just somebody you know. You need to, that's the hardest thing for me, because my good colleagues, most of them are really, really busy now, so I'm running out of people to recommend. But again, this speaking in the terms of business, yeah, you have a happy client in your database, and super. Yeah, maybe when you send them an email in half a year, they will tell you that for some reason they stopped learning and now they want to start again, and they want to start it with you, yeah, because you were very nice to them. So this is your prospective client. All right. And so I can't say that building this personal brand, is a very fast thing, yeah. But the bigger your client base is, the safer you feel, and and then the more you teach, the more clients you have, etc. So it's working only for you. Oh, other things you could use here is creating a page on Facebook or Contacte where you promote yourself as a teacher, or you could do it on your personal page. I created a business page on Facebook, which was called Anita Modestova English Teacher, and I can tell you that it took me for about half a year that first people who subscribed to my page became my clients. Yes, so it's not immediate. You need to build this rapport, and as you're doing it online, for example, with a Facebook page, yeah, it takes time for people to start liking you, to rely on you, and then to come to you. So it's not an immediate process, but when you have a client base, it's a very solid background for you, and when you work with it, it's an amazing resource. So this is for about how not to wake up and have no money. And the second one is when you the second block of questions that I'd like to discuss is with your existing students. Again, what I do for me about cancellation. I will start with cancellation policy. I'm a pair, and I have a contract with my students. I'll tell you, I'm not an accountant or a lawyer. I created this contract myself, and it's just, for me, the main idea of this contract was for it to be on one page, so it's not very big, and I have just the information there that I want my student to know and to remember. So when you're a contract is not mandatory. The tax office doesn't really need it, so it's okay to work without a contract, but it feels safer for me. But actually right now I decided to experiment and have a new student, and we didn't sign a contract. I just explained on words, and we'll see what happens. Yes, a little bit of experiment. So if you have a contract, if you sign a contract with your students, please send me a plus. Hello, is anybody there? Super. And this, first of all, and no, cancellation policy, you sign it, another one, okay? So in my cancellation policy, I say that if you cancel later than 12 hours before the lesson, I charge 100%. So if just the rules, yeah, the rules, the contract, the cancellation policy, that's what I mean, something that you sign, and you actually sign it not because you want. Sometimes I don't use it. Sometimes I don't charge my students when they cancel, but they should know these rules, and they should know that these are important rules, and they just should know them. So if the student cancels right before the lesson, I charge. And when you have this contract, when you sign something before that, the student knows that, and they usually. So if you ask me to show me some messages from the students who cancel, they usually write, Anita, I know that I have to pay for this lesson, but I have to cancel, or something like that. It's not a problem at all. And then there is something I can do. So, for example, I have a super reliable student, and he's amazing. He's an adult, but I can understand what day or the week it is according to our lessons, because always Tuesday and Thursday for more than half a year, no matter what, he's always there. And once he had an emergency something, and about an hour before the lesson, and he cancelled, of course. But for me it was okay. I don't know, that week was rather busy for me, so money wise, and I thought, why, I was at home, and actually I was feeling tired, and I thought, why would I charge him if it's actually good for me? Yeah, so I decided not to take this money, and I told, it's okay, today is no problem, yeah, once a month it's okay. Yeah, so you could then you can act upon this situation. But when you have rules, super, and there is no I would say it's very safe for you. I know that some teachers have a kind of monthly plans. So, for example, a student pays for 8 month lessons in advance and has to use these 8 during this month. Yes, you have a schedule, but if the student cancels, they don't charge the student, but they have to move this lesson somewhere during the week and have to full 8 classes during the month. If they have only 4 classes because of the student, that's their problem. Yeah, so this is one thing, but for me it's really hard. It involves a lot of accounting, a lot of notes and checking, and I don't know. I've never used it. It's not for me, but you could use this technique too. And one more thing, that if there is somebody who usually cancels not like 12 hours but 24 hours before the day, you can always choose not to work with this student. So again, I ask you here to be again teacher-centered. If you don't like the student for some reason, he cancels a lot and he's a lot of trouble, you can give them a talk, you can share, when you speak, there is I message, I technique. You speak about yourself, not you are the bad student, so bad of you. No, you say, I can feel that maybe English is not a priority for you now, yeah, because you see we had only 4 lessons instead of 8, and blah blah blah. And you can say that you have other students who are wait, etc., etc. Yeah, you can actually share this situation with you, and the student might say, okay, I understand, I will, and might change their behavior, or you will part friends, yeah, because you will help the person actually realize that English is not a priority for them and do something else, and maybe when English becomes a priority, they will come back to you again. So again, our task is to help this person even against themselves, if this is the case. So, and then you fill your schedule only with organized students who pay in advance. Yep. So again, how to take money if they don't want to pay for a lessons? It's prepaid. I always ask to pay for. I say that I have only prepaid lessons. I don't know, 1 or 8 or 10. It doesn't really matter. But I have to get my money before the lesson. If there is no money, I might think that the lesson is cancelled or something. And that's why when they cancel it, it's not a problem to charge them because you already have their money. Yeah, and the contract. I think everything here. So my techniques. First of all, about the database, I would say that you choose any. So it could be Excel, it could be Google Docs or something. But what I really like, what makes my life easier, is some email senders like MailChimp or Unisender, or there are many. I'm using MailChimp now. I'm not sure that it's quite legal to use it in Russia now because of some changes in client management policy. I would think of that. Anyway, that's what I'm using right now. You, for example, you have your database in Excel, you upload it to MailChimp, and you can see here, for example, I have my Anita Modestova English teacher. This is my database I'm using for myself, my students, and I have a kind of center, a project together with my business partner. It's called Password English, and we have our own database. But I manage it. That's why it's on my list. So using this tool, you could actually send emails to your students when there are many. If you can't just use your email client for that, like Google or Gmail, because they will ban you for spam, and applications and services like this, they actually give you opportunity to send email, and they're free. MailChimp is absolutely free, and you create an email there. It's really easy, and you send it, and your students read it, and you can actually, I don't have the statistics here, but you can see who opened it, who clicked the links, etc. So this is a tool I would recommend. These services are very easy. MailChimp is American, Unisender is Russian. So maybe you might think of Unisender because it works according to our policy of personal data management. But again, you can choose. This is the tool you could use to keep in touch. Yeah. So our rule number 2, keep in touch with your students. For this, you send them emails through a service like this. And for my client management, I started using a CRM system last year. So this is a print screen. I hope you can see it. You can, for example, this is not my group. This is just from their website. I don't like accounting. I don't like paper. I don't like thinking a lot or making notes, because who paid for how many lessons did we have? It's too much, I don't know, brain work for me. So I use a CRM system. I have to pay for it. For this one, I pay 1,000 rubles per month, but it's worth its money for me because I don't have to think of it. So I have a student. I register. I have a schedule with my student in this database, and the only thing I do after the lesson, I click that we had this lesson, and also you can actually add the details. What did you do? What was the topic? What homework did you give? And you can actually give your student access to their personal account so they can see the too. Yeah, that's like additional perks that you have here. But first of all, your student pays you 10,000 rubles. You log in this data into your system. And then you just click that you had some lessons, and then the system will remind you, and your student will become red, and you will see that he has to pay for more lessons, and you just tell him, by the way, you have to pay. So this is what I'm using, and unfortunately, that's what I'm not giving you a name, because I think this is rather we need different things from this CRM system. So I wouldn't say that mine is the best, because there are some things I don't really like about it, but I haven't found a better one for me yet. But there are many. There are My Class, there are Holy Hope, and there are, so if you actually, My Class has lots of features for groups, etc. So you could Google it or Yandex it, and think of the criteria you might need and find the database for you. Or you can ask me, I'll tell you which one I'm using, but I just don't want to promote it right now because it might be something that you don't need. So I'm not giving you a name for now. I would like you to think of the criteria you might need and then act accordingly. But anyway, the CRM system also can manage your database. Unfortunately, I don't like this database system in my CRM, so I use a different one for that. But this is already for business issues, and I'm not going to bore you with the details right now. But again, I just wanted to give you an idea that you don't, that lots of things can be automatic, can be done automatically. So, and you can have more free time when you digitalize your routine. And I like digital things and tools and apps, and this is my favorite thing. So if you have any questions, please ask. Whew. So this is about client management. Are there any questions or maybe something you'd like to add? Please tell me. And I will help. No questions. So, again, I will give you some homework, all right? So, no questions, great. Tatiana, you're welcome. You're welcome, Julia. So, first homework is to plan your next week with lunches, hobbies, etc. The second homework here, if you don't have a database, create one. Doesn't take a lot of time. When you create it, think of all the emails that you've got from your students. Think, and then there is something, for example, if you teach at school or at a language center, um, so this is a gray area if this is your student or your school student. So I wouldn't add, I wouldn't add those students. But for example, if you stopped working for a language center or school and some student contacted you after that, it's your student. Yeah, because he wants to work with you. So if you're working for some institution, please, yeah, we don't steal clients from our colleagues. Yeah, and so maybe if you're not sure, are you allowed or not to send emails to these students, you can always ask your management and get a yes or no answer on that. So better ask than not. So the second task is to create a database of your students. If you don't have it, if you have it, you choose Unisend or Mailchimp or some service for an email. And during this week, I'll give you a whole week. It's a lot of time, and send the first welcome email. Usually, again, I have very good relationship with my students. I think you do too. So I tell them, hello, it's me. How are you? And I have some news and blah, 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 blah. Tell me about your life. Something like that. And in this email, I send the links to my project, the links to my online course, or something useful that they might need. Okay, you're trending fair remark about stealing students. Yeah, that's again, that's I know that, for example, in my database, I have some students from my previous job. Yeah, but they contacted me, so I can't say no to them. All right, because but it's hard in our area because, yeah, of course, students like us, like teachers, yeah, they fall in love with teachers, not always with institutions. But there are some students who are very loyal to institutions, not the teachers. So it depends. Yeah, but let's be careful with that. Let's, I don't know, keep a safe and pleasant work environment. So, and if also the third home task, which is optional, and if you think that you could digitalize some of your routine, and choose, have a look at CRM systems. It's actually called CRM для преподавателей, CRM для школ, or something like that. You type it in Yandex, and then you find. Like last year, I think I spent a day searching for the one I need. Whew. So let's move on to to an interesting topic. I hope the previous ones were interesting too, but this one is something also to discuss. It's about price. I have a question. What should a teacher do? What good one? I had a lot of a question from Ludmila. What should a teacher do when she herself has to cancel the lesson? Cancel it. I had a lot of experience with this year because because of some family situation, and for example, I had this period of uncertainty, and I knew that I might cancel some lessons in the future. So actually, I told my students in advance that I might be canceling some lessons. Yeah, and then I cancel them. But this is a global situation. I think you do the same. But for example, if something's come up and I don't know, you don't feel well, I cancel my lessons, and I try to cancel them as early as possible. But I don't. I mean, of course, I don't charge for this lesson, but I also don't provide an extra free lesson. That's my position on that. So I just say sorry, and again, so I'm thinking of my student in that situation. So they're not again, it's actually they're usually happy even when they like you, even when they're goal oriented. They like to have some spontaneous free time. Again, I'm working with adults. I believe that children even more like it. And I think that anyway, I must provide them with some practice these days. So I try to send an extra task, or when they cancel or when I cancel, I ask them to send me an audio message on WhatsApp or Telegram about their day or something. So I am like a short session or a short task that involves some speaking or writing, or maybe I send them a video or something to, just to give them some English in their life. So that's my position on that. I know that some teachers have different opinions, but that's what I do, and I've never had a problem with that. But I cancel only in emergency situation. It's never been a problem. And the students, again, when you first of all, yeah. So maybe then I think Evgeny Osachov gave a topic on building gave a talk on building a relationship with your adult students, if I'm not mistaken. And again, lots of things depend on what relationship you have with the students. I have more of a friendly partner something relationship, and of course they usually I understand them if they cancel. I try not to charge if it's okay, if it's only once a month, and of course they don't get offended if something happens in my life. Yeah, so we're adults, and it's adult to adult communication. Yeah, yes, Evgeny did. Yeah, Evgeny, I'm taking mental notes of your talks. Yeah, so this is about more of a topic of building a rapport, building a relationship with your students. Ludmila, I hope it's not in advance something really important. But next, yeah, I don't know. I'm very honest with my students. Again, I read it too quickly, right? If not in advance, something really important but unexpected happened to you, I just say that. And again, if I usually commute to my students, or we have lessons in Skype, so I don't have students who come to my place. That's why it's okay. They are at work usually, and it's not a problem for them. They can go have a beer or something. Maybe I would think of something if the student came directly to me. Oh, I have one student like that now, by the way. We meet in a cafe not far from my place. I'll have to think about it, but I think that I might give a discount for the next lesson. Then, if they're already on their way and they've lost their time, then I would, or maybe provide a longer lesson next time or something. Yeah. So, but yeah, if it's unexpected, you're right. Really sorry. I'm really better call in this situation. Say I'm really sorry, and maybe explain, yeah, what happened, or maybe not, if it depends on your relationship again, and then say that if you want an additional lesson, maybe schedule one more lesson, or if they can't, you skip it. Yeah, it's usually a discussion, something you can discuss and come to a perfect decision in your situation. Whew, you're welcome. And again, practically no time for pricing. Yeah, so actually there are some things I wanted to discuss. And again, the focus of this part of my talk will be to be a teacher-centered teacher. And this is not the question I wanted to answer, so please don't write the amount of money you need. I would say what I wanted to focus on here. Okay, I'll start with this slide, because we don't have a lot of time. First mistake maybe of our students, if we want more money, we usually, of the teachers, we try to put more students, try to pack our schedule with more students, and that's the biggest mistake. Of course, when you have more students, you have more money, but when you work 24/7, you don't have time to think what are the other ways of getting more money. So let's think about that. When I became a freelancer, it was also a problem for me. How much should I charge for my lesson? What's the price? Yeah, am I worthy of this money? Yeah, why do I charge this and not this? And somebody charges that much. So how much? And again, I decided to be a teacher-centered teacher. So actually, there are some, yeah, ladies, I know that's our typical problem. Yeah, more work, more money. But it's not, I mean, it is like that, but it's a vicious circle. Yeah, you will just work too much. So again, I would like you to, not now because but maybe sit down, set a Pomodoro timer, and think of your business plan or something. First of all, think on how much money do you need right now, maybe in the future. How much money would you like to earn, and be reasonable here. Yeah, of course we want all millions of dollars or something, but actually we don't really need them, yeah, because we wouldn't know how to spend them. Yeah, but think of your perfect salary that you'd like to get, and after that, think of your perfect schedule, because these things are very important. Yeah, how many hours can you teach per week? So I know that I can, or hours of classes, maybe hours was a wrong word to use. I know that I want not more than 10 classes, 10 lessons, and that's why I'm thinking of my income. Yeah, so I do some maths, and so when you have the amount of money you want per week, you can divide it, and knowing how many classes you want to teach, and then you can get a sum that you would like to be charging. Yeah, so I don't know this. Let's just speak metaphorically for now. Yeah, but for example, if you want this amount of money, yeah, if you want, I don't know, 10,000 rubles per week, yeah, so this is mean, and you have 10 lessons, that means you need to charge 1,000 per lesson. This is how you get more money. If, for example, right now you charge 800 and you will understand it just a little bit. So, of course you can't just say to all your students, now you'll be paying me 10 times more than you used to. Of course not. Yeah, when then there is a next topic, how do you tell your students how to increase, how do you increase the amount of money they're paying? It's a little bit, it's not the topic for now. Yeah, let's say, but again, with the new students, it's easier. You want to, know how much you want, and you can set this price. But also, I want to focus on this one, as I've already said, I'm a CPD addict. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm getting tired. No, just a second. I thought I had a different question here. In this one, yeah. What can you do to earn more? I mean, what are you doing? Yeah, because in my opinion, again, in my world, the ideal picture. To the better professional you are, yeah, the more money you charge. And it's not correlated in the real world, but it is in my world, and it gives me again certain reassurance when I increase the price. Yeah, because when for example, I got my CELTA, of course, after my CELTA, I changed the price. I got my second education, I changed the price, etc., etc. So when I invest in myself and my studies, after that I have to return this money, and this gives me the moral right of increasing the price. That's one thing you can do, or you also can, monitor the market, how much your colleagues charge. And I would beg you, before that I beg you not to steal the clients, yeah, from the schools. And here, please don't. Oh my God. No dumping, please. Yeah, because I know that sometimes the teachers set a very low price, and then they come to different teachers, and students are very surprised with the price. Yeah, so try to maybe write down your strength, why as a teacher you are allowed to charge more than you do right now, or maybe why not, or what would you like to do, yeah, what you can do to earn more. I mean, what qualifications you would like to get that will again give you a moral right, yeah, because some people just set a price and they're happy with it. But I have a feeling that I have some people here who are not as self-confident as some super business people. So that's why I'm speaking of this moral right to increase the price. Yeah, so think of your qualifications, look at your resume, and then say, wow, why am I charging only this? I'm so cool, I'm so great, I do have the right to charge more. And how much more, yeah, because just count, yeah, do some basic mathematics, how many hours you would like to teach per week, and what money you will get in the end of this week and what money you would like. Yeah, so again, this is more of a psychological talk for now. If you'd like, we could make a session on this a little bit later, but for this it won't work as a webinar. Yeah, we'll need to discuss it. So as here we have only me talking. So but for further discussion, yeah, I would need some feedback from you to help you set the price you want. Also, what you can do to earn more: become a teacherpreneur, listen to Marina Kladova or me, and maybe do some project. Maybe, you know, when you have time to think, time to lunch and time to think in your schedule, yeah, you can make some groups of some of your students who are the same level, and this will give you more time and more money in the end. Or an online course like I'm doing right now, or I don't know, something else. Yeah, so there are lots of ideas that you can do that are connected to teacher and maybe teaching and you'd like to do. Yeah, or etc. Or maybe, yeah, about these ideas we could talk next time. What can you do to earn more? And think, yeah, why can't you set the price you want? Usually it's more of a psychological thing for all of us. It was a psychological thing for me. Actually, for me, it was my mother who insisted, Anita, you should charge more for your lesson. And I was like, Mom, I'm so shy. I'm not sure. And she said, just do it. And I obeyed, and now I have no problem with that. So yeah, so as it is more of a psychological thing, and if you're not happy with the money, if you're a freelancer, if you're not happy with the money you're charging your students, this is your problem. Yeah, think of it. If you need help, ask me, and we'll think of something. So the tips here are, I don't have any techniques and tools here, only tips for now. So more students doesn't equal more money. Yeah, so think of this, remember that. Don't get super tired and professional burn out trying to teach more students. That's not a solution. CPD always gives you the moral right, and also if you get, for example, I have a website. Yeah, and I have all my certificates and everything on my website, and when somebody recommends me, they give a link to my website, and the student sees it. So when I tell him my price, he understands that that's a reasonable price. Yeah, because I'm super professional. Then be confident. Yeah, so no need for modesty here. Again, this is the area of business, and modest people, I think, can't. My last name is Modestova, but I'm trying not to be very modest, because I think modest people can't be successful in business. Yeah, because sometimes you need to have a realistic approach to see what your qualifications are, what your teaching skills are. If you're not sure about that, ask a partner. Supervision or just talking to your partners or colleague is very important. Assess your skills and then set the price according to your skills. And if that's one tip that I'm using right now for me, and I assess my skills. I know what money I'm worth, and I know how much I want. And then there comes this moment that you need to actually vocalize this price and tell somebody how much your lesson costs, and this can give you a lot of worries and psychological pain. And what I usually do is, what helps me is when I have one last spot. For example, I know that I want only 10 lessons. 10 lessons, my super maximum. And now I have I have 8 students, so I have 4 students, so I have 8 lessons. Yeah, for example, so I have room for one more student. And when they come, I tell them as like a crazy price for me. Yeah, because I don't actually need this student right now. Yeah, I have 8 students. That's a very good workload. That's a good pay, and I have an extra spot to experiment, to get crazy. And I tell the price that I want, rather reasonable, but higher than I'm used to, and the price that gives me some inconvenience, I would say. I really wanted to, yeah, but it's the first time I'm going to say it, and then I'm using it in my last spot, and it usually works. Surprisingly, it works from the very first time. That always happens to me. I met some kind of magic. But again, when you, one more thing with money here, when you teach students, for example, who pay 10 rubles per lesson, yeah, they usually recommend you to other people who can afford only 10 rubles per lesson. when you come to teach students who pay 200 rubles per lesson, they recommend they recommend you to, you know, the people who can pay 200. Again, when you take 10,000 rubles per lesson, yeah, your students recommend you to a group of people for whom 10,000 is okay. Yeah, so money is very relative. There are some people for whom 1,000 rubles per lesson is a lot. It's really a lot of money because we live in a big country, and they want a good teacher, but this is really a lot for them. Yeah, it's not because they are bad and don't want to pay, but this is the maximum they can afford. Or there are some students for whom 10,000 rubles is just nothing. Yeah, so we just need to find them if we want that much money. So again, about the price, yeah, think of yourself, think of your CPD, think of your skills, and set your homework is to set the price you'd like to start working with starting next week, starting your next student. Yeah, positioning, up market and mass market. Yeah, that's true. It's a whole new, a lot of, not even a topic for one talk. I think it's a topic for a series of talks. Yeah, I just wanted to ask some questions and give some ideas for you to start thinking wider about the price. Yeah, to start thinking out of the box and start thinking of your price. So to sum up, yeah, again, I would like you to do to have a homework, yeah, to work on what we talked about today, because there is no use in my talk if you don't implement what we talked about. So a schedule with lunch and hobbies and your favorite things, first of all, and no professional burnout, please. Then a database of your students, cancellation policy if you don't have, and the first email to your database this week. And the third one, assessment of your CPD, assessment of your skills, and assessment of the price you have now and the price you want. And if you are as crazy as I am, yeah, you can try selling your last spot at a higher price. Whew. If you have any questions, and we have 1 more minute, yeah. Sorry, Evgeny, talked a little bit too much. So you're writing your questions, and I just would like to present, share my contacts with you. I'm Anita Modestova. My email is very easy, anita@modestova.pro. I have a website, modestova.pro. There is a special link for my colleagues where you can contact me. And I have a Teacherpreneurs Club at Instagram or Facebook. I have it on Contacted too, but I don't really use Contacted a lot. That's why I'm not usually there. Or my telephone number, you can reach me in WhatsApp or Telegram or anything. I'll be happy to answer your questions. That's a good question. No, I don't have children. I know that it's harder to manage your time with children, and I will have my experience in my own time. But I do have children. I do have colleagues, and I do have friends who work as freelancers, having children and having perfect schedule. And maybe in the future I can provide you with a little bit better answer is what can you do when you're freelance and have children, but not now. Thank you, Ludmila. Okay, yeah, that's I think would be all for now. Thank you very much for participating, for being so active, for answering my questions. I hope I gave you some food for thought, and I really, really, really ask you to work on it, to act on it, and to try the things I told you about in your life.